Back from the dead.
Hello everyone, it's BabyCamBeezy, and today I'm doing something quite out of the ordinary. And in all honesty, I just learned how to do a little bit of easy learn stuff. I did this by myself, but I learned how to do custom modifications. So I haven't figured out how to multiply the car yet, which is something I'm gonna look up later. So I took the Bolt Atlanta, and there's three versions. You have the off-road, the V8, which technically comes in two engines, I'm pretty sure, but I'll stop there. And then you have the F-Mill. I turned the F-Mill into a direct car. The F-Mill has been turned into this. This is actually really easy, believe it or not. Especially, the only thing hard about this is I did have to, add some parts in, which I'll show you guys how to do in a minute when I go and modify something else, and I'm gonna explode the car real quick and show you. This is 100% hand done, V8, supercharged, suspension's all done, it's been lowered both ways, oh darn, I thought I fixed that. And this is an issue you'll have right here. Is I wanted a certain size tire. They are actually really huge. 1 second, let me switch it over here. And see, you can custom set all of this. I'm going to turn this down to, let's go with 45. And then it should, in turn, it fix that issue. This is actually really simple. And I know I may be making it sound a lot easier than it actually is. But I learned how to do this in a matter of like an hour. And that was just me messing around with stuff. I still mess things up, but it does mean this. Now, since this was an F-Mill, it was running a single set of exhaust, which means all this exhaust was hand put in. Suspension's been messed with all by me. All of this is really simple. And guys, I'm about to show you on a different car how simple it really is. Okay guys, so I've got the FMW Roadster, which is a 4-cylinder. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to mess with the 4-cylinder version, although it seems really easy. I'm actually going to take the V6 and swap the V6 out for a supercharged V8. So, you guys are about to be able to learn how to do this. Okay guys, we have the same cars back, but the V6 version. So first of all, since I'm changing it to a V8, I'm going to change its name to the V8 FMW Roadster. Now, this takes a little bit of work, but it's nothing insanely complicated. First of all, do we want to lower the car? Do we want to mess with the suspension? The car is really low to the ground to start with, but I am going to show you guys this anyway, so I might as well. So, start here if you're doing minor stuff like this. I'm going to run up to a 9 instead of a 7. And, guys, remember, if you don't add a second car, this will actually change the base car, which I'll show you later, a few of the ones that I've built. Okay, so now that we have the suspension lowered, and it's very little, but it's a noticeable difference, and it makes it look like a track sort of car. Then from here, I like to do the wheels next. This is just my choice. Give me 1 second and I'll pick the wheels out. Okay guys, I picked a set of wheels out, and see, here's another really good thing about this, and something you might want to do ahead of time, is if you know there's a certain car you want to do and change straight out, then you want to do is decide what rims you want ahead of time. Because it takes forever and it resets where you're setting, so you can't just go through one by one. The first couple sets of rims, I went with the 3. I've been too lazy to really go through and check. But since it's going to be a faster car, I'm going to switch out these sport tires for race tires, which is something really easy to do once again. Let's see what race tire B looks like. Okay, I'm going to switch the front to race tire B. It gives it a really nice track look. Okay, so next up, you definitely want to do something about these rims. Do you want to increase or decrease the size? You change this like you normally would whenever you're actually working on it. Width, do you want to increase or decrease? Well, then you just punch in your number. Like, I switch those to 35s, and I'll switch the back side to, let's go with 45s. Oh, And this is what happens when you do unrealistic wheel sizes. I accidentally hit the button a little too many times. So now it's a 45. The back rims are thicker, the front rims are a little smaller. I don't know exactly what happens if I save the maximum wheel size, so I just leave it as is and hope it's somewhat right. Really though, if you like the way it looks, you shouldn't have to change anything. Okay, so next up, I'm going to switch out the engine. Now, you have multiple choices. I would like to show you something real quick. When you're doing this, don't pick the 392 Hemi. The 392 Hemi actually happens to be an engine that has not been released into the game yet. So when you go to play, it says the item's missing. I figured this out accidentally because I was doing a custom Challenger drag car build. And yeah, it just doesn't work. So, you know, if you want to put in something really cool, you can. Or if you just want to go basic. But this is the supercharged. Right here. The W12. I haven't tried it yet in-game, but I think it's going to cause the same issue because it hasn't been released yet. So, now you hit the show body button right here, and boom, your car's in place. And actually, surprisingly enough, for a car that I didn't expect to line up, this is beautiful. The alignment of the transmission. I expected it to be off by a landslide, but now sorry about that. Oh crap. So value is size. So if you want it bigger, so if I really want a huge driveline for some stupid reason, 9. Bam! That's not the driveline, but you get what I mean. So I'm gonna quickly put this back in place. You can make the engine bigger to fit your car, which is a really nice feature. Then you can adjust it using these. One thing that I would like to look at is make sure the engine is not rubbing against this, which is an issue I commonly have. It has an intercooler? Okay, that's 2 things that need to be fixed on here. But yeah, due to the lack of space inside this engine, I'm actually gonna have to take a few more looks. Okay guys, so when I went back and I showed the body again, I realized that the engine is shoved forward. So what you need to do here is A, you could do it like this. This is the way I like to do things whenever you don't have a mathematical type situation here. As you can see, I'm going to shove the engine back. Kind of want to lower the engine as well. This makes a lot more work for you though, as the player. 1 second. I'd like to check the exhaust alignment. Okay, so, as you can see with the exhaust, it's actually supposed to run at a certain position. And thanks to not lowering the car insanely lowered cars, this gets a lot harder. But, this might take a little bit of time to figure out the way you want it. If you don't mind slight impacts, you can adjust the transmission in a certain way. I'm going to lower the engine here, I think, then run it back. And these are really simple adjustments, stuff that I figured this out in a couple of minutes, like the basics. It also gives the hood room, if you want to look right, sorry. If I tap a button at a certain angle, it doesn't like to work the way I want it to, so it causes this issue. So I hit explode car again, which actually closes everything. The engine fits under well. Explode the car a 3rd time. And there's now clearance between everything, I believe. A good chunk of clearance in between that and that. So yeah, I can accept this and move on. Or if you really want to fine tune it, you definitely can. I can't argue with you there. But the V8 supercharged now in place, and it doesn't look horribly misplaced. Okay, so now you need to do this. This is one of the fun parts. Also, parts. This is where you get everything that you need for this bit right here. Crap. It's very glitchy on my computer. My computer doesn't have enough power to play the game, but you know, I don't like to be the person who doesn't get to play a game. Okay, so downpipe, when you select the downpipe, it actually comes, I'm actually going to switch this one to the downpipe. It'll actually come with a double set as long as you select the right V8. I have very little experience, but I believe it's the V8 2. First of all, you have to find it though. See, they're very glitchy in a way. Also though, one of the issues I have caused, but I didn't notice, is the steering rack is now having a conflict. I'm gonna actually take a look at adjusting this, because that's gonna bother me. It'll also help me out a little later on, because having that issue, although it's the steering rack, which means it's gonna be easy accessible because it's longer, who knows what else it's covering. So I'm gonna raise the engine a little. So let's go back like this, go up here. I don't know. You know what? I think it's best to just deal with it, because this is one of the things too, is you have to be willing to oh, wrong button. Okay, so you have to be willing to accept some flaws, because some things just won't work, and luckily I will. Some people won't, and they will mess with this, but I just don't have the time. So we have our V8 supercharged in place. Don't mind this positioning. I did raise it, so when you shut the hood, it still makes clearance, I'm pretty sure. You can make a car where the supercharger sets out the hood, which is not actually a horrible looking thing. Okay, so interior. This is starting to look really nice. Now, your engine's in place, and technically you can leave it as is, but it doesn't look right at all. Okay, so our downpipe, which is the V8 one, which I'm not going to worry about right now, is I want to get me a set of exhaust here. I'm going to go with the V8B, just because that's the one it's supposed to be. Okay, so I got the exhaust, they're both the same. And then you tap the reflection button, so they look correct like this. And then the fun part is actually adjusting it. So you got to figure out, one, your downpipes. Your downpipes got to be done first. So your downpipes, I normally like to set it as my first one. So start off with this. If you don't know what you're doing, then you just type in random numbers till you see something. Now our problem is my downpipe is here. X really shouldn't have to be messed with too much. So you just want to tap a few buttons, and here we go. So now slide this forward, and then you'll need to change your position a lot throughout this, so it takes some time. You definitely have to have a little bit of patience if you want proper alignments. So then you would raise this, and it actually looks relatively good in size. And then I like to line up with one of them and then adjust. Okay guys, I fixed my little issue with my drone bit. Now I'm going to slide this in. You want it to line up as well as possible. You may need to adjust things slightly, like so. Now, what I actually like to do is I like to have your parts impact each other, like so, so it doesn't look, it looks like the parts go together perfectly. Some issues though, is your sides will not align with each other, like right here. These parts are not quite aligned, which may not, it doesn't bug me enough where I'm going to go into fine detail, so I can continue going. Both sides are a little off, but this gives me a rough idea of how to do the transmission. I mean the rest of the exhaust. Another thing that you'll see is issues like that. Wow, that actually bugs me, but oh well. Because lack thereof time is one of the major issues. So what I'm going to do is quickly, I have this set to what I want. So first of all, the X positioning, I want to put in a 0.5. Okay, so that's definitely not it. 0.1. No. So what I've decided is probably a -1. I mean 0.1. Okay, that's too much. 0.2. 0.3. That looks about right, give or take. So then you need to take this and put in whatever number you think it is. So I know that this number needs to be raised. So let's put in a 9. And 9. No. Okay, so is this a 9? Yes. So the 3 needs to go up to a 4, and then a 2, or something like that. Actually, that looks really close. So now your z value, which is how far back it sets. So I want a 3, 2, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, I'm going to take a look at 2 from a slightly different angle. Okay, so 2 is perfect here. Once you get one value perfect, the rest sort of fall into place over time. So now, we need to adjust our x. 3, 2? 2, so 2. Wait, the alignment's nearly perfect there. 1? No. Holy crap, it's like 0.01? No? Oh, 0.01 maybe? I don't know. It's a really small value. 3 is too big, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 looks perfect here. Okay, so that exhaust is lined up well enough. Now, the really good part about this, though, is as long as I can see that value, I can sort of adjust the other ones to it. So, 0.426. That is the proper height. Your Z might be a little different, but we'll see. 2, 2. Okay, and then the X is completely different, so I wouldn't even look back at the one that you were looking at. Okay, see, and even with the alignment being proper, you still might be a little off. So let's go with 0.1. 0.1, maybe. Okay, I don't know exactly what it is. 2 is decent. Okay, 3 maybe? No. 1. No. 0, 5. 4. 3. 2. Okay, and that one gives it the exact same look. So the exhaust system may be a little off, but it is correct in the sense that it should be there. Now, we run into this issue. This is one that's going to bug people. Okay, so when I show the body, your exhaust ticks out, which means it's not misaligned, it's just too long. I don't know exactly how I want to fix this besides swapping the exhaust. So let's go for a V8-1. Oh, that's a downpipe. That's not what I needed. Okay, so guys, I'm going to quickly fix my alignment issue. So, like, in 3 seconds, or in the next couple seconds, I will tune you back in, and you guys will get to see the finished product. Okay guys, so the pretty much finished product's here, with only a few flaws. The drive shaft normally would have to be adjusted, which is really nice not having it. I have one more part I wanted to mess with. I did a little switch here. Probably have to switch the intercooler again, but I thought it looked cooler with a different intercooler. So I got to go back to the front end of my car and fix that, because I switched it from the small to the large intercooler, which actually managed to have no issues, I don't think. Not none, but that's an easy fix, really. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push the intercooler forwards, and then hit show body, and then the intercooler has no issues, is visible through the front, which makes it like 1,000 times cooler, because that's what the intercooler is supposed to do. And here's our finished product. I'm going to quickly throw on some paint, and then do a cinematic. First cinematic ever on my channel. Guys, I didn't tell you about this, but you can also widen your car. I haven't had any experience with this, but you would use the wheelbase like this, and I'll remember that it's 5.0, and then put that, and see how it moves? you can make the car longer or shorter here. And then I believe this one is the one that... No, it's another one of the same. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly just... is it this? I don't know. See, I have little experience. That is it. This one moves it in or out, so you can make your body a little... like, shoot your rims out. One second. Actually, I can really show you by doing this. See? And you can just flat out... You can make a one-wheeler, technically, with two wheels, because of this logic. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and do my actual cinematic. Okay guys, so that's cinematic. This car looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So I just saved the car. It is now going to be in my actual game. Okay guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this really helped you guys out. It's definitely allowed me to build a lot of new cars.